For this hat, I'm using 2 strands of the number 4 worsted weight together. You can either pull 2 strings, one from one skein and one from another skein, or you can use the same skein and pull one from the side and one from the center, which is what I'm doing here. So to do our cast on, I'm using a double Ewrap method, and I'm going to hold the yarn together as one yarn, and I'm going to do a slip knot and place it on my anchor peg. For our double Ewrap cast on, we're going to double wrap each peg and knit off all the way around. You can use this method, or you can use whatever method you want for your cast on. So finish your cast on and meet me back here. Once your cast on is complete, we're ready to start the brim of our hat. For the brim of our hat, we're going to do 16 rows of our Ewrap knit stitch, and then we're going to fold over the brim. So to do our 16 rows for our Ewrap knit stitch, we're going to come behind the peg and wrap it and then knit off. But since we're doing several in a row, you can go ahead and Ewrap several pegs and then hold your yarn, then knit off. So finish Ewrapping and knitting off your first row, then you can take your starting yarn off your anchor peg and push it to the inside of your loom and just let it hang, and we will weave that in when we do our folded brim. So go ahead and finish your 16 rows of your brim and then meet me back here. So I've just completed my 16 rows for my brim. Now I'm going to do a folded brim. To do the folded brim, I'm going to find the cast on loop, and remember we're using 2 yarn threads as one, so the loop will have 2 threads, but that's just one. So we're going to find the loop and match it up with the peg and put it on the peg. So I'm going to go around really quick and put my last row lower to give me room to put the new loops on. So once I have that first loop on, then I'm just going to follow around and find the next loop and the next loop and just place those onto the pegs, and that's going to give us our folded brim. Okay, once I get back to where I started, I'm going to leave an opening here because I want to deal with this tail from the beginning. I want to hide it in the brim of the hat before I close it up. So the first thing I want to do, because it's still attached to here, but it doesn't have a knot, and I like to make a knot. Oops, sorry, I was holding the wrong one for the camera. Here's the one from the beginning. So I'm going to thread this onto my yarn needle, and I'm going to make a knot, and then I can just tuck that in to the brim so that we don't have to weave it in. So I'm going to go weave it into the hat, away from the brim, and I'm just going to make a knot in the inside. That way it's just secure, and I don't have to worry about that loop unraveling or anything. Okay, once I've made a knot, I'm going to cut this just a little bit shorter, and then I'm just going to push that tail right into the pocket I've made on the brim. Then I'm going to continue to put on all the loops. from our cast on. Okay, our loops are all on, and I should have 2 loops on every peg. So I'm going to go around now and I'm going to knit off the bottom loops over the top loops to secure the brim in place. So go around and do that and meet me back here. So I finished knitting off every peg, and now I'm ready for the body of the hat. The body of our Batman hat is going to be black, so I want to do a color change to black before I finish the before I start the body. To do my color change, I'm going to make a slip knot and set it on the peg next to my working yarn, and I'm going to just tie those 2 together with a knot. You can do both yarns together, or you can do one at a time to make it a little less bulky since we have doubled up yarn. So I'm going to take 1 black and 1 yellow and make a knot. And then I'm going to take the other black and the other yellow and make another knot. Just makes it a little less bulky when you're using 2 strands of yarn. I'm going to take the black slip knot off my peg and pull out my slip knot. I'm going to gather up all my black threads, yarns together. So I've got the new strand from my skein and my loose ends, and I'm going to hold those together and knit with them together until the strand runs out. That way I can kind of weave it in as I'm working so I don't have to go back and do it later. The yellow ones I'm just going to leave, and later on I will weave those in when we're finished the hat. So for the body of the hat, it's going to be exactly like we did for the brim. We're just going to E-wrap and knit off all our rows till we get the length of the hat we want. So go ahead and start your body, and when you get to the length you want, meet me back here so we can do the drawstring bind off. And don't worry about these little ends here. After you finish your hat, we can just cut those off. I just finished the body of my hat, and now I'm ready for my drawstring bind off. To do my drawstring bind off, I have an in-depth video you can watch. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing here. I'll put the link below. But before I do the drawstring bind off, I'm going to take one strand of my black and 1 strand of my yellow, and I'm going to use a Pom Pom maker to make a Pom Pom. And you just use your Pom Pom maker according to the directions on your Pom Pom maker, or you can watch some videos on how you can do that. So I'm going to stop and make my Pom Pom before I finish my drawstring bind off. So now I have my Pom Pom made, and I'm going to do my drawstring bind off. So when I do my drawstring bind off, I'm going to thread my yarn onto a yarn needle. And I'm going to turn my hat inside out. And when I do this, this is when I also want to attach my pom-pom. So you can attach your pom-pom any way you would like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the inside and I'm going to grab the tail of the pom-pom and I'm going to pull it out with my drawstring. And just let it hang there. So I'm going to tie up my drawstring. And as you can see, I have the pom-pom. I know black is really hard to see. I have my pom-pom. It's probably best to watch a different video on how to attach the pom-pom just because this is black and just really super hard to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 4 of these yarns and I'm going to act like they're one yarn and put them on the yarn needle. So once I've pulled through my yarn to close up my hoop and my 2 threads that were attached to my pom-pom. And there's different ways you can close this up, so whatever way you like to attach your pom-pom is fine. After you secure your pom-pom, then you'll want to thread this yellow yarn that was left over from our rim, and you'll want to weave it also into your hat. We already made a knot when we were changing colors, so we don't need to make another knot. We can just weave this in. Now our hat is complete, and next we are going to add the Batman logo. Once our Batman hat is complete, we can sew on our applique. So I'm just going to take my needle and thread and I'm just going to sew all around the black and I'm going to secure that onto the hat. And there we have it. Our Batman hat is complete. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to my videos so you can catch more later. Bye.